I hope you must have completed the entire floor plan along with the text, dimension, hatch, whatever is essential for your basic presentation as per the uh, topics which have already been taught to you. So it's the first time now we are going to see how to print this in case you want to print this your first ever drawing which you have done in ArchiCAD. But remember, this is the practice which we were doing for the two-dimensional drafting and editing tools so that in future the same tools you are going to use for the three-dimensional drafting. Hence, even for the printing now which I'm going to explain, in future you are going to follow the logic of this view map and layout book, etc. So that is going to be much powerful than what I'm right now explaining. Right now I'm just trying to show you how, in case you have some emergency and you just want to print certain portion of your drawing, or maybe this floor plan which you have drawn and you just want to print this on a particular sheet for a particular scale, how you can check and how we can print this. So for that, let's try to first of all consider that if we are planning to print this, most probably on a A4 sheet, we'll check if in case we can fit this floor plan on a A4 sheet for 1:50, how we can do that. Now, what you have to do is you just have to first of all go inside the either line or a polyline tool, whichever is comfortable for you. Then a rectangle is the tool which I'll geometry method which I'll select, and then apart from the line weight you can decide the one which you want to use along with the color if in case you are looking for color printing also. And then just try to first of all place your mouse on one location. Say maybe I'm just trying to place it on my lower left corner of my drawing area, and here I'm going to first of all draw the paper for 1:1 scale. So that is nothing but, say for example, my A4 sheet is normally 210 centimeter by 297. So this is the ISO A4 size. So 210 and tab and 297. So this is supposed to be a standard A4 sheet. Now in this A4 sheet, you would like to maintain the margins from the all side as a print margins. So what probably I can do, I can just press W from the keyboard and I'm going to select this. Now remember, because it's a group, if you try to now offset copy, it won't happen because you have to use the suspend group on. So once you do the suspend group on, and with the Mercedes cursor, if I click, I'll use the option from the pet palette, offset all edges. And that too also, now remember, when you're trying to offset, you have to show on which side you want to offset. Say be careful, like the way I'm dragging my mouse, you have to be careful. You can see where I pick the point, with respect to that point I have to show the offset side. If you travel further on a large distance, you might even get some distorted image, so be careful about that. So just drag that much which is essential for you. Press Ctrl once so that you will go in the copy mode, and if in case you decide that from all the sides I want to maintain the margin of say 10 mm, so let's try to place the 10 mm over here. Now these two things together, if you want to again compose as a block, be careful now. When I selected them, the outer one was already a group and the inner one was not a group. It is supposed to be individual 4 lines. I can first of all, if you want these inner lines, if in case, because the outer one will not get printed, so be careful. The one which is outside, that won't be get printed. So I'll just first of all again switch off the suspend group. So what will happen, all the 4 members are selected, and if you want you can just convert these lines into either dotted or dash, something which is just to give an idea that okay, this is not supposed to be selected for the printing. Okay, so you can also have some other color if you want, so that you can remember that okay, it's not valid for printing. So that was your just sheet size, and then everything together I'll select again, and then I'll put Control G again to make a group of this. So this is supposed to be the hierarchy of the groups. Like first of all, I have created there was an outer group, and then there was inner rectangle, and then again I have created a group of that. So it's valid. You can keep this grouping can be get done for number of times. Anyway, now let's try to see how we can actually make it compatible for 1:50 scale. What you have to do, you have to actually scale this, because my floor plan scale is 50 and I'm going to check whether I can fit this drawing for 1:50. If in case I'm not able to, then I'll change the scale. So how can we do that? Or otherwise you have to change the paper. If in case your scale you want to keep it strict, you might even have to change the paper. You might even go for A3 size. So how to decide that? First of all, either you can do manual calculations and you can check out, because your drawing extends, you should know divided by 50, that is a simple logic. Or otherwise draw such sheet and just use this topic known as a resize, that is the scale. Control K is this hotkey. But be careful whenever you use that. Before that, make sure the suspend group is on. That is something very much important. Now you can just quickly click on the resize tool, and you will get this dialog by saying that okay, you can resize ratio you can give, but define graphically, in the sense you can give it directly on screen. I'm not sure about that. Don't worry about all these remaining portions. That is not going to affect right now for you, because not a single 3D object you have drawn right now. So don't worry about that. So I'm going to first of all remove this option, that is define graphically. I'm going to discard this check mark. So I can right now mention what should be the scale ratio. There are three possibilities. You can either call the existing object as a 1 and how much it should be as a new one, or other way around, you can call a new one as a 1 and what should be equivalently the existing should be, or you can even give the option in terms of percent also, that is right now 100%, that is 1 to 1 as it is. Fine. So remember, now if I place some value, just try over here, you will understand, because if you keep your mouse over here, there's no tooltip which is arriving. But if you just place some factor over here, you will realize that this is nothing but if the new is 50, original is 1. That's the reason you are coming to 2%. So instead of that, if I keep this as a 1 itself, and if I put this second figure, so you can see 1 is 2, then comma is there, and again, so this is the first combination, 1 is 2, 1. The other combination again, where the right side 1 is editable, here the left side 1 is editable, and this is the second combination. Or otherwise you can talk about the percentage wise, that is 200%, 300%. Okay. So right now if I put 50 over here, now it will work for me, because it will go for 5000 times also, and it is supposed to be exactly what I'm expecting for 1:50. So 50 times I want to enlarge the current object. That's what we are going to see. Got the point? Okay. So my current object will get enlarged for the 50 times, and that is nothing but 5000 is a percent wise ratio. Now I'm just going to say OK for this. Once I say OK for this, you can read the prompt. It is written enter resize center point. That means you have to click one point as per your choice. That will become a fixed point, and with respect to that, either the object will enlarge or shrink down as per the scale factor which you must have given. So I'll just click over here. You will see now my entire thing. Now I can use a button fit in window button also. You can see now how your object is almost. So altogether A4 is not going to be sufficient for 1:50 scale. Then either you have to change the scale, maybe you'll go for 1:75 and you will proceed, or otherwise you have to change the paper size. Correct? So if you have a A4 printer and you have some restrictions, so then you can go for and change the scale for 75. And in case that is not going to work for you, say for example, now be careful, even if I change the scale over here, for example from here, if I go for the 1:75, which was already there in my list, if it is not, you have to go and click on the custom scale and you should type that. So remember, if in case your scale which you're expecting is not available, you should go for the custom scale, and from there you can definitely type the required scale. So now I'll change the scale, and you'll realize now, then you'll say what about the paper? Obviously the paper was not sufficient for 1:75 by default. No, it was supposed to be nothing but you have made it compatible for 50. So the next probably what will be the step? So you just have to say undo one step back. So your paper will go back to the scale will not change. Okay, and then again you can hit this seam resize, and here you can mention this as a 75, and you will see OK, and same point I'll give as my reference, that is a resize center point, which was written on the lower left corner of my screen, and this time it will get almost fitted, so that now you can definitely control D, drag, and just try to place it in such a way that your targeted objects are getting placed inside the boundary, the inner boundary. Obviously the outer boundary is of no use, that is the actual paper which you will use for printing. The one which you will select for the printing is the inner boundary. Okay, so this is how. Now I'll deselect the object, and you can check out for 1:75 I can print this on A4 sheet. If in case you want to maintain the same scale of 1:50, then be careful, you have to choose A3 sheet instead of A4. So I hope now you have understood all the required, what you can see, a basic level printing techniques. Again, remember, this is not the way that you should try to use the printing every time from ArchiCAD. There are proper tools with the help of which, that is view map and project map. View map and the layout book. These are the two options which you will be adding in future so that the printing becomes more powerful and sensible. So please now print this. Say for example, if you have a printer, do print this directly. If you don't have a printer with you, now how to print it? So I'll show you that also. First of all, you have to go inside the marquee, select the marquee area, marquee option with the rectangle itself. So your geometry method is rectangle, single marquee and rectangle, and then try to click on the point, that is corner of your sheet, on the lower left corner to upper right corner, right click. Anyway, you just have to click opposite corners and you have to highlight this area. So this is the marquee area which you have chosen. Now, if you have already connected to the printer, you can see pull down menu, file, go inside the print. Okay, don't use plot. Plot is meant for plotters. Right? So that's a different logic. So use a printer. If you have inject plot, a printer or plotter, inject one, use the print only. And once you go for print, you have to make sure that you have to select the required printer. So I click on the page setup, I click on this, and I just have to check out which printer is suitable for my need. So according to that, I have to select the printer. Once the printer is selected, then I can go for its properties, or I can directly even check out if the paper available. So for example, I'm looking for a A4 sheet. So I'm just going to click on the A4 from the list, and then whether it should be portrait or landscape, and all those things you have to just check. And make sure here in the main dialog you have to see plot area as a marquee area. Okay, and then the original scale for the printing, because there was no problem for printing, I don't have to use fit to, because then I lose the scale. On custom, in case you are not able to manage the thing in your paper. So almost my things are ready. If you want to print this as a black and white, you can put it, see check mark over here also, and you can fire the data by saying print. If in case you don't have a printer with you, still you want to print, then probably you can go and try to see. If in case you have any PDF printer installed, you can use that. Fine. So in case I am having this Microsoft print to PDF, so I can use this also and I can solve my issue. This can be one possibility. Okay, so remember, this can be one possibility. Or otherwise, you can also do an exercise that after selecting the required marquee area, you can say that save as, and from there also you can definitely convert this into a PDF file. So I have to just select this particular option, that is my extension, and from there I just have to hunt for the PDF option. Then my page options I have to go for, I have to select the A4 sheet, then the margins, the orientation, everything I have to check. After that I have to go for document options. Here I can check out, instead of entire area I'll say marquee, and then original scale, and make sure everything is correctly arranged. In the PDF options, you can again select down the required things. So this is nothing but a very standardized format. 300 is the resolution for ARC, I'll always suggest, because that becomes a really better for printing printed output, whether it's on screen or if you want to take it further on paper also. See OK, and then just choose the destination where you want to print these drawing with the required file name and everything, and that's it. You just have to fire the data. Moment you click, your work is through. So I hope now you have understood how to print the file. Now the marquee which is running, you can just give escape and stop that, that is double escape, and you remove that. So altogether, this is how I guess you should go and print your drawing. Then please check how it appears for the line weight, text height, and the other things, hatch pattern, density. Everything you have to check and you have to experience that. And then if there are some problems you are facing, you can ask me, you can send me your drawings on the provided details on the lower right corner of your screen. You can see my contact information is available. You can send me the data. I will check. I'll give you the feedback if there are some mistakes, you are having some issues. But please do try all these things, because here your first level for the 2D part is getting concluded. Now you are ready to shift to the main core of ArchiCAD, that is working with the parametric 3D objects. So in the next possible lessons which you are going to study, or which will use, there you will actually start exploring ArchiCAD for its BIM environment. Okay, so please do a good practice and proceed further.